Welcome to You Know What, the podcast for you that dispels the myths and BS in the fitness industry whilst leveling up your A game in everyday life. We are your hosts, Nick Finch and Dan King.
Ready to rumble?
Welcome.
Welcome. You know what? Some cats are allergic to humans.
You know what? So this is something we discussed doing, right? Anyway, I didn't know cats were allergic to humans.
Well, now you do know.
Tell me more,
I
man.
can tell you a little bit more. So, fun fact, that although we bathe and clean ourselves a lot more than cats do,
Yeah.
some cats are still allergic to us due to our skin and deterioration of our skin over time. So they
What?
can be allergic to like dead skin. Fun fact.
Man.
Welcome to the podcast.
What's this podcast turning into?
Ta-da!
Do you know what? When you said this before we did the podcast, I thought it was just, one little fact, that's it. You actually got more into this, man.
Yeah, I'm really into it.
Do you want to know more about this?
Do you want to know more about cats
Some
and whether they're allergic
cats.
to humans?
Yeah, we are a fitness podcast, guys, in some ways. So we're going to try and stay on track today. But we're also going to talk about random stuff. And I think the first one is something that you brought up was transgender athletes.
It's a big topic. It's a big topic.
It's a big one. So what's your thoughts, man? Talk us.
My personal thoughts on it, and I'm not going to get overly political because getting overly political might get the podcast cancelled in episode 2, which we can't have. But my thoughts on it are, right, if you are a transgender woman who is biologically changed from a man to a woman, personally, and you've done everything, you are now a woman, that is where you are. I think you should be able to compete in the women's category.
Right, okay.
If you have completely biologically changed. However...
Even if you still have a dick?
It depends, right? I think.
See, we're at danger going political, right, man. It's not that I disagree. It's just a question, like, because if someone's had like a whole 18 years of like puberty as a man, and they've built up the structure of a man, and they then turn to a woman, they still have that structure.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I see where you're coming from with that. I see where you're coming from with that. I think one big thing it should come down to is hormone level checks as well. Check where a woman who has trained for a long period of time is at the minute for hormone levels. Compare that. There needs to be some more research on it. Firstly, above all else, there needs to be some more research. Obviously, the what's it called? The Olympic Federation have already turned around and they've said women will not be in like swimming events and stuff.
They've cancelled it.
They've cancelled it.
Yeah. Sebastian Coe.
He did.
Yeah.
Because the problem, I get it, because it's too much of a grey area at the minute. It's easy you chalk off a grey area rather than let people compete, and then you create so much uproar out of it.
Well, the problem is that women's records were being beaten by men. Well, if you say they're not men, obviously, but like by men that turn to women, they're beating women's records, and those records are getting put down, and women can't beat it. So women are actually losing out more than men are.
How many records have been beaten over the period of time? For me, I don't know enough about how many records have been beaten. Is it quite a lot that have been beaten?
I don't know specific. But I would say if you're hearing about it a couple of times, it's probably going to be a few more hundred than that. Do you know what I mean? Like Subi from Southampton, you know Subi? Yeah. So Zubi was in our gym.
Really?
Zubi was in our gym, and he posted this video of him identifying as a woman. This is different, obviously, than transgender. He identified as a woman. He beat the woman's deadlifting record.
Oh, I heard about something similar to
this. And now he's famous in America. He won Joe Rogan.
Right.
The Tucker Carlson show.
Right.
Like all the top like American chat shows. He got famous from it because he was proving a point that a man's body is built differently than a woman's body, right? He obviously didn't take hormones to be a woman. Yeah. So that's different. Yeah. But based on that though, if you get someone like him and then he gets the hormones of a woman, like say a year later, is it acceptable that he should be
You do make a very fair point there, because if you're speaking on the side of training, it's like someone who... It's really, really difficult. This is why, again, such a grey area. Yeah. Still a hot topic for debate. I still, in my head, is kind of biological woman, biological man. That's in my head. I'm like, you are kind of...
What is a woman, Dan?
I'm not answering that question. I'm not answering that question. No.
What's a biological woman, Dan?
I mean, as I say, it's a grey area. It's a difficult area.
Yeah.
If I know more and ever learn to know more about
Rishi gave a definition. Rishi RPM, he gave a definition, and it's the definition that a lot of people are starting to give now. It's a adult human female.
adult human female.
That's what they're saying a woman is. Like when they're asked that question.
And a man, what's the same for a man? Is it an adult human?
No one's asked that question, have they? But
What is a man?
it's funny. It's just a woman, isn't it? No one talks about who's a man. What's a man?
Just wait for a year. It'll turn around and be like, what is a man?
No one cares, do they?
Adult
They're like
adult human man.
because let's face it, you're not seeing many women turn into men going into men's sports.
Now that actually raises a very interesting point.
Yeah.
And kind of backs up the point you made about saying how these people have trained as men and now they're transitioning to be a woman.
Yeah.
Flip that on its head. People who have trained as men for a long period of time, a woman who's trained as a woman for a long period of time, with female hormone levels and everything the same for a long period of time, then changes to a man and then competes. Technically, it's flipped on its side because they can't compete.
But they'd lose against the top man, wouldn't they?
Exactly. They wouldn't even be in a competitive sense with it.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
Let's compare.
What sport do you reckon a woman would beat a man in?
Shot put and discus.
What?
Have you seen those women?
Oh yeah,
They are units.
I would say archery. They could win.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I like when it come down when you take away the advantage of strength, then I think you could probably argue they'll be good at like potentially archery to be able to beat that.
Gymnastics, phenomenal.
Gymnastics,
phenomenal.
because gymnastics actually quite relative as well.
Yeah.
So you don't have to necessarily be stronger than the other gymnasts. You just have to do better on the
skill-based exercises. Yeah. So like the floor routine, for example. Yes, the crucifix is one of the hardest positions to hold, but I mean, I know there are women out there.
They're also lighter.
Most women are lighter.
Being heavy and being good at crucifix and being light and good at crucifix is very relative, isn't it?
Yeah.
You might be a woman that is weaker, but you're lighter, so you can actually do it.
Yeah. I'd love to be able to do a crucifix.
That is interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about gymnastics.
Let's be honest. Women as a whole are phenomenal when it comes to multi-managing tasks and having huge skill repertoires. Like beyond most blokes, let's be honest. They're skillful jobs. Women are very good at.
Well, this is that whole saying, isn't it? Like men can't multitask, and it's true.
It's
true. Men are a bit more. On average, men are a bit more. Single-minded, directed. I find, but it means they're rubbish when it comes to like trying to multitask. Women have this ability to like juggle thousands of things at once.
Gross motor skills, blokes are better at. Fine motor skills, women are better at. In general, on average.
Yeah, on average.
On average. You know what? Actually, we'll go on to the next topic because again, that is still something that's very much in the pipeline. Still very much a grey area and still very much based on opinions.
But we're happy talking about it.
Well, of course we are.
We're just not going to be political because we've all got different reasons why we believe things, and it's good to talk about it.
It's good to have a strong opinion on that. As I say, my opinion is biological man, biological female. I still think, in a way, there is a way. We need to learn more about it. But there is a way that someone who has transitioned may be able to compete later down the line. I think the people we want to hear from is you guys. Let us know. Let us know your opinions on it. Again, these are opinions. These aren't facts by any means. It's a very new thing. If you think 20 years ago, it's not on this level. It was never on this caliber.
No. 20 years ago, definitely not. But anyway, the war's coming, guys. So don't worry, it will all change back. Let's talk about the next one. Perspective of progress, right? So different people's perspective of how fast they should lose weight or gain muscle. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we want to talk about that a little bit and give you an idea of what is realistic and what people expect and why your perspective matters when it comes to this. Yeah. So obviously you wanted to talk about this one specifically.
I did. I think it was a very interesting topic that was raised on another podcast I was listening to. And it wasn't even a podcast related to fitness or training. It was just someone who basically, they're on Slimming World. They've been on Slimming World for the last... No. Yeah, well, we won't even go there. But they've been on Slimming World for like 6 weeks. And obviously they've got like Slimmer of the Week and like you celebrate when people have done well, which is amazing because you should celebrate people's achievements. And I completely agree.
I understand the community aspect, it's good.
100%. But they were saying where you go to Slimming World and people are expecting you to lose 8, 9, 10, 11 pounds in a week.
What?
This is the expectation. People shift onto the Slimming World diet and expect to lose vast amounts of weight. And if you don't, it's not frowned upon, but it's almost like you're not doing as good as you should be.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works. Just because you're on the same diet as another person does not mean it's going to give you the same results.
Yeah, that's stupid. I used to measure everyone weekly, and so what I do now is I do every 2 weeks. Yeah. I'll take a photo.
Yeah.
So, of their front back side, not their back. Measure them, and do their scale weight, and 9 times out of 10, everyone gets on the scale, and the first thing they see is like, oh, I've gained 2.2 pounds this week. Yeah. And it's like, they're going to say that because everyone's so caught up in the scale. It's so stupid, man. Yeah. The scale doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
And then you sit them down, you take them through the photos, and you see their photos have changed drastically. They've lost a lot of weight around the waist, and their waist measurement's gone down. Yeah. And they're still hung up about the scale weight. Yeah. And it's like...
Snap back to reality. Like,
you've looked different, you feel better, and your weight's gone up by 0.2. Who cares? Who gives a shit?
Yeah. So, we're talking about body composition, which is exactly what we're specialising in. We specialise in body composition and performance coaching for people. So when you're looking at, obviously, reducing body fat to change your overall aesthetic whilst retaining muscle, you're going to have that visit. You're holding on to more dense material. It's like, right, I put it in a building perspective. When you go into a building shop or a woodwork shop and you buy a plank of wood and you compare that to like bubble wrap. Bubble wrap is your fat. Plank of wood is your muscle.
Right.
Okay?
Never heard this before.
Is less dense than wood.
Yeah.
Okay? Wood weighs more than bubble wrap. No matter how much you get of it, if you get exactly the same, the wood is still going to weigh more because it's denser.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with fat.
But if you do get the same weight in bubble wrap, it'll be massive.
Exactly, it'll be ridiculous.
Which is what fat is, yeah.
Which is what fat is, which is why fat takes up a larger surface area than what muscle does.
Yeah.
So you get hung up on this idea that you should be losing weight.
Yeah.
But looking.
What weighs more, a kilo of feathers or a kilo of iron?
Weigh the same.
Yes. That was a bit of a delay there.
Weigh the same. For a minute, I was like, hold on. Processing.
It's different with the camera, isn't it? It's like your brain doesn't work the same way. It's like, ooh.
It's like a hot seat with you guys watching at the minute and listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, that leads us on very nicely to a point that I made earlier, and it was from an interesting. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube. I've been learning a lot more about fat loss and the mechanisms for fat loss. And one of the big things that I've researched and learned a little bit more about recently. Fun fact for you ladies out there, which is a fantastic fact. Women, when they're put in the same deficit as a bloke, a 500 calorie deficit. This is in a study. People want me to cite it. Come at me. So in a 500 calorie deficit of equal par, but a high protein diet as well, women retain muscle much better than blokes do in a 500 calorie
I find
deficit.
that, do you know what, I'm not calling BS on that, but I feel like that's so not true, man.
Fun fact. But
weird, isn't it?
It's because the reason is us as blokes can build and lose muscle very quickly. Yeah. So our balance of muscle gain to muscle loss is imbalance. So
but
starting to reduce it down.
I need to look at this study because I haven't seen it. But testosterone is a very anabolic hormone. Yeah. So anabolic means you're promoting the growth of muscle growth. So if you've got high testosterone, you're very unlikely to lose muscle.
Yeah, but this is where progesterone comes in.
Right.
We don't have.
Okay.
And I said to you earlier about this. Progesterone is.
Some men do.
Some men do.
That do in female sports.
Yes. They're both.
So they got loads of muscle. They're just packing it on.
But progesterone is something that allows women to hold on to muscle better. Not a disastrously, not ridiculous amounts. It's not a large plethora. But in women, when you put them in a deficit, they will hold on to muscle more.
So you're telling me if I inject some progesterone into me, I'll start retaining muscle better?
Progesterone also, bear in mind, it works in the menstrual cycle and it works when you're going. It increases when you go into your period. So it causes carbohydrate inhibition, and it also causes, obviously, the luteal phase where you feel weaker. So you've got to balance things out there.
All right. Well, you girls can have your progesterone and your retained muscle capabilities.
I'll put the study. You know what I'll do? I'll link the study in this so people can see.
I need to see that because
It's really interesting.
All bodybuilders now, watching this, are thinking, how do I get that? How do I get progesterone?
It's about the balance. So because women take longer to gain it, they don't lose it as quickly because that building time, it takes a lot longer. So it's all about the muscle gain balance. Whereas blokes, we can gain it really quickly, we can lose it very quickly.
Interesting.
That's how it works. I don't know the weekly time span of things, but this is in that study. It was just saying that's where it's at. And I was really interested.
That's interesting, man. That's interesting. I mean, that kind of brings us to another point.
Yeah.
Like, when should you build muscle and when should you lose fat?
Yeah.
Like, some people come to coaching and they've got a little bit of fat to lose. They also have to gain a bit of muscle. And it's like, where should you start? Should you start by losing fat or should you start by gaining muscle? Should you do both? Obviously, doing both is difficult.
Yeah.
You can't really do both at a very fast rate.
Yeah. Multitasking. Women are quite good at it.
But yeah, women, yeah, you can gain muscle and lose fat. Obviously, like you can do it, especially in the first stage. But where should you start, Dan?
Where should you start for it? I mean,
Where should you start?
For me, generally, it's where your priorities lie,
Yeah.
and it depends on the person.
Let me give you a case study. 25% fat
Yeah.
lady.
Yeah.
So not super overweight.
Probably that
Yeah, manager.
Yeah.
Around 45 years old. Got a lot of people to look after. She comes to you. She's 25% body fat, but she's also very like the muscle's very weak. She's got no muscle, and she wants to obviously tone up and look as good as possible. What would you reckon the first stage would be?
See, what I'd personally do is I would go for the body fat loss to start.
Yeah.
And then I'd look for the muscle gain. Because if you look over a period of time, body fat loss takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
Normally, the muscle gain. But if you're concentrating your attention in two different areas and you're thinking, I need to lose fat and I need to build muscle at the same time, your diet's going to be completely different.
100%, man.
Body fat loss, you're looking at reducing your fat content and reducing your calories. That's it, keeping your protein nice and high. Jobs are good. Looking to build muscle, get your protein nice and high, you can then integrate fat slowly, and your body's already adapted itself to this lower level of fat and lower level of calories. So when you beef it up, you're not putting on copious amounts of fat. And most of the time you put fat on is normally because your diet hasn't been regulated before. So prior people would have been
Just
eating
thinking,
7 or 8 Easter eggs. But then you change the diet around and actually they've been on a healthy diet for a 6-month span.
Yeah.
3 months of that being in the fat loss phase, 3 months of that being the muscle gain. By no means are they the actual lengths that you need to go to.
What was that?
I think that's a dog.
That sounded like a wolf.
I don't know, that's bizarre.
Oh, there's a dog up there, yeah. There's a dog right there.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. It was like the hound of the bastard.
Clearly in the what was it? The follicle phase?
The luteal phase.
The gluteal phase, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah. So, what would you say? So if I came to you, shall we flip the case studies?
Do it, go for it.
35-year-old bloke.
Yep.
He's just started up his own estate agents.
Yeah.
Looking to build his estate agents up. And works with a team of 6 at the minute. Finds it very draining to come into work most days. But he's got a bit of a pot belly on him. And that primarily comes from him going down the pub a lot. What would you do for him?
And obviously, like his muscles pretty.
He's doing the classic bro thing.
Yeah,
he's been training. He goes and does chest, or he does like back. Doesn't hit his legs. Who hits legs?
So people like that, obviously, you gotta look at their lifestyle first of all. First, like make sure their sleep and stress is handled before you look at nutritional like means.
Yeah.
You'll do this all within the same kind of time frame anyway. So you start off with their sleep and stress. Once you've addressed those issues and what they can do to fix that, then we'll look at supplementation. Normally, I would say supplements comes last, but actually starting to get into the idea of supplementing first to get your foundation sorted, and then build nutrition. Because someone that's stressed like that, they need to handle that stress. They need to get their energy levels up so they have the energy to then train and start training and start building the physique they want. And then obviously at that point, a calorie deficit will be important. But initially, I wouldn't even think about a calorie deficit. It will be filling the gaps in nutrients, and then building from there.
I agree with your point on that. If supplements, I think when you're doing your PT courses, and a lot of PTs out there, if anyone's watching this, they will be going, oh, but we were taught you never issue supplements, you never do this. If they are beneficial to a person, you issue them. You don't tell people not to eat a chicken breast because it's come from a poultry farm. Like, if it's going to help them hit their goals and get the results that they want quicker, you're going to give it to them.
Well, look, if the thing is, like, your body, your metabolism won't function properly if your gut health is off. And it won't function properly if you're missing vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, E, F, whatever. Like, you need to have those nutrient deficiencies handled. And most people that are stressed can't change their entire diet in one day.
No.
And if you don't change your whole diet in one day, then how are you going to get those nutrients in?
100%.
Get a supplement, fill the gap, change the diet.
Change the diet around.
You're going to feel 10 times better. You're going to perform a lot better at work. Your staff are going to look up to you as a leader more because you're going to be showing up with more energy. Like that's what I'd say for that person. Like they would need to be on it with their nutrients.
People will be looking up to that key point. People looking up to you. Whenever someone shits on you, pardon my language, for taking supplements, for doing something you think is going to benefit you, just tell them to screw themselves, because you're doing it to promote a benefit in yourself, and it's not of their. Normally, people only give you slandering progress when they first one can't do it themselves, or two see you getting ahead. That's one of the big things, isn't it?
I've heard this. Like Greg Plitt said it right. He said it's like people will hate on you when your success shines a light on their failure.
Yeah.
And that quote is insane, man, because it's true. Like when you feel someone, like especially your friend, you see a friend getting well, that's when most people start to get a bit funny.
Yeah.
It's actually, if it's a stranger, you tend to like don't have an emotional connection.
It, don't you? Yeah. 100%. That's an interesting point though, but I can actually relate to that a lot, and I can relate to that because I'm still very new to the industry. We've said this before. I'm 2 years in now, and when I first started, I related a lot, and I looked up to people like yourself. Obviously, you've been in the industry a long time. He still does.
Yeah.
But like whenever, like for example, people would be talking about how they're doing with clients. Oh, I've picked up X amount of people, and I was like, bloody hell, I'm really not doing well at the minute. And then I'd start getting in my head, it'd start to twist a bit and almost be like, oh, they shouldn't be doing well. They're not doing this right. They're not doing this. And you really start to dig at people.
Yeah.
I've learned not to do that now. I accept, obviously, everyone's in their own position.
It's human nature.
It is.
So if you recognize it, though, you can overcome it. Like if you don't recognize it and you just feel this feeling and you don't know what it is, then obviously it's different.
Yeah.
But most people will have their friends, like they'll say to them, I want to lose body fat. Yeah. And the friend will actually support them and say, yeah, you do need to lose some body fat. Like get into a program. Yeah. That's not supportive shit, man. That's pretty negative to me.
It's a negative way of saying it. I mean, it's always how you talk to people.
Yeah.
I'm not going to turn around to a new client who I think they need to lose weight and go, you need to lose weight.
But they'll then lose weight.
Yeah.
20 pounds or so.
Yeah.
The friend gets quiet.
Yeah. Of course.
They're no longer supportive. And you know why? It's because 9 times out of 10 they're jealous. Because they're like seeing you go ahead and they're not going ahead. If they're not jealous or they handled it well and they're emotionally intelligent, they'll come to you and say, "Oh, really well done! Like I want to get involved as well." Yeah. And you start to become like a little role model for your friends. And I do think like focusing on your health and fitness as a pillar, as a foundation, is essential for a good work-life balance and also having the relationships you want in your life. Yeah. If you haven't got health, you haven't got anything.
No, you haven't.
Yeah.
It literally is. And there was something I heard about earlier, and it was Phil Graham talking about it, and he was saying, when people buy into coaching, buy into PTs, buy into Chloe Ting's ab workout.
Well, what's that workout? I want to find me right now.
Chloe Ting's ab workout.
My abs.
6 pack in 2 weeks, baby.
Everyone thinks as a PT is supposed to be 6-pack all year round, man. But
no, it doesn't
I love food too much, man.
I enjoy myself, and I think that's a realistic of it. But as I say, people buying into coaches, PTs. The most difficult thing for people to give away is their health. It really is. And we think in our perspective, if I think about getting a coach right now, the first thing that comes to my head is go, oh, what if they do it wrong? Yeah. That's the first thing you think. And a lot of people will do that. I do it when I think, I should just get myself an online.
But this is as a fitness coach. Like,
this is a fitness coach.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
how valuable they are.
Obviously, I've got a boxing fight coming up. So I've started changing my entire training around. Yeah. Right? I've got a boxing coach now. Yeah. Whereas before I would never get a fitness coach for myself because I love my training. Yeah. I love designing it myself. Yeah. And now I'm actually liking the fact that someone's in control of that area. Yeah. Whilst I focus on the other stuff. Yeah. And it does help. It's really useful to have someone there to give you like the accountability and like that you know, just in case you mess up one day, you know he's there to like, right, okay, you need to change this, mix it up. And you feel a lot more confident going into the idea of fighting someone on stage. Or in the case of fat loss, obviously, you feel confident that you're on the right track. Yeah. It's to talk about the perspective of progress. Obviously, it's the same thing with this. It's just a different way around. Yeah. And it's like I feel like my progress should be here, and I should be ready to knock out this guy within. 100%. Do you know what I mean? But it's not.
Seconds, but realistically,
yeah.
You're going to have a good fight with someone, you're going to put in your all and you're going to do the best you can. And that, again, that's an important take home. Do the best thing you can. You always do the best you can with any situation you've got. Don't drive yourself into the ground.
100%. This is the thing. Like, also, that's another thing. Like, obviously, the first phase going hard, right? Yeah. And my energy level is I'm getting zapped, right? Yeah. People do it all the time with their training. They get a coach. They're like, I want to lose fat. They get given a training program. They go hard as fuck for 2 weeks. Yeah. And then they're absolutely exhausted. Yeah. So people are so motivated at the start, they put all this energy in, and then their motivation goes down because their energy's down.
Yeah.
Start off with, the first week, explode into it a little bit, that's fine. Pace it, and pace it out a bit longer, because you're going to get to an eventual dip where your energy level is going to go down, your motivation is going to go down. The coach is there to make sure you stay elevated.
Yeah.
Like that's what I find. The coach is there to help you that point, because most people get to 4 weeks and they quit.
Very true.
A coach keeps you going through that.
Yeah.
Every time we're doing this podcast, we're promoting ourselves, but obviously that's what we do.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
We're not here to turn around and say get a coach. We're here to show you the value in getting a coach.
Yeah.
That's the point. But again, we're here to talk about important topics, which I think we covered very well today.
And you know what?
And you know what? You need to watch this next time.
You should watch this next time.
You should watch this next time for sure. We've got an interesting guest hopefully coming up very, very soon to give kind of a different perspective on things.
No names yet.
No names yet. We won't disclose information.
Okay.
But obviously, if you guys see this on Spotify, see this on YouTube, make sure to drop a comment on stuff that we've spoken about. We don't even mind if you bash our opinions. Treat yourselves. The algorithm will like it. Just literally.
Don't tell them that.
Oh, yeah.
Hate us.
Hate on it.
It's fine.
But no, just honestly, give your own opinions on matters. And we really hope you're enjoying the episode. We've got plenty more to come. We enjoy obviously talking about this because I think for us it gets off our chest a lot of opinions you're holding in and I'm holding in, and I want to just talk about it and we air it in a safe space.
And you know what would be really good? This is not something that you have to do, but like if you watch this, you like it, obviously leave a comment. Very, very useful. We take your topics for next time, because we want to very much be connected to you guys and what you like want us to cover. But if you do find it useful, like screenshot it, put it on your stories, just tag us. So we can see what you look like, because obviously, on Spotify, you don't know who the hell's listening.
No idea. You just
So if you can share it on your story, then we know who's actually listening, and so we can then connect with you and then obviously follow each other, etc. Yeah. Cool.
Wow. Lovely stuff.
Bye. Ciao, ciao.